This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for CareNotes for Caregivers with Doug Wilber. And I know, Doug, you have some real important information that you need to share with your caregivers today. And I know the rest of the population will be very happy to know that they are being trained and prepared for this COVID-19 that we are all experiencing.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. One of the things that I want to do today is, first of all, I want to thank our caregivers. Throughout this crisis and, all the fear and other things, I have been amazed at how focused our caregivers have been on giving care. I mean, I am blown away by the focus of trying to do the right thing for the people we serve and the heart of caring and service that have happened. We have had so few issues as far as call-offs or other things. People are really doing the right things for others, and all the people that we've hired over time, we've put people through a rigorous process. All of you went through our interviewing process, and this is the time that I think we really see it, because the people that we hire and the people that are cherished companions are really rising to the occasion here. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for all that you're doing for our clients. I know you love them dearly, even the ones that are rascals, and it really is showing it. We serve a very vulnerable population, and one of the things I want people to understand is that the risk for most of our clients is not that we're going to get something from them, because they're very isolated as a rule. The more, the higher risk is that we could potentially give something to our clients. And one of the things that we have to kind of look at is we need to change our mindset in general about things, and not so much think about how we can catch something from someone, but that we could look at things a little bit differently and say, I potentially could give someone something. And how that affects something is not just to wash your hands after you've touched a doorknob or done the different things. Those are the right things to do, to protect yourself, but also doing that to protect the person we serve. Or if you touch your face, think, oh, I could potentially be carrying something, and I'm going to wash my hands to prevent that. Now, there is, through all of this, this situation, a real need, I guess, just to plan, prepare, and be ready for anything that comes our way. But with the isolation, the way that we're supposed to be sort of self-isolating, I want to emphasize something, and that is there are some really key factors in making things work, and I guess hopes and expectations that I have for our caregivers. The hope and expectation is this: because we have a vulnerable population that we're serving, I really believe that we should take the instructions that we've been given by the governor in the state of Ohio and take it to the extreme, and that is we're supposed to, practice social distancing and other things. And my recommendation for people in general is that there are two things that they should do. They should go to work, and they should go home, and they should limit the exposure that they have. In other words, once they're home. In other words, they, should not be going to parties or events or, even religious activities for the most part, when in order to serve and protect our clients. Now, believe me, that's also the right thing to do for themselves, because I recently sent out a note to people like that I was with, and that's exactly what I told them. I said, when I sent out the note, I said, please go to work and go home, because this is real. And again, the biggest danger we have, I believe, in general, or speaking statistically, is that we could bring it to someone else, and not so much that we're going to get it from the population we serve, especially, is not likely. If you have to go to the store, go to the store. If you have to go to the supermarket and groceries, and if you have to go to the pharmacy. But otherwise, people really should follow what the governor said, and that is stay home, do that. The other thing I think people need to think about is making sure you follow the proper protocol, and I'm just going to quickly go through what that protocol is. People need to wash their hands with soap and water for at least 30 seconds. I know the recommendation is 60 seconds. Not 60 seconds, 20 seconds. But I say 30 seconds. They found that that's even better. And go through the alphabet twice, or, different things like that, so that you're getting or sing happy birthday a couple times. I mean, there are different ways that you can get that time in and use it. Use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol if soap and water is not available. So once you walk into the door, you should wash your hands. Before you leave, you should wash your hands. When you get in your car, you should use sanitizer. Before you leave your car, you should use sanitizer. Things like that. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, mouth with unwashed hands. Obviously, don't avoid contact with people who are sick. If you have to cough or sneeze, cover your mouth, cough into your sleeve, use a tissue wherever you can, throw it in the trash, and wash your hands if your hands were involved in that process. Clean and disinfect objects and surfaces. One of the things that our caregivers can do is they need to eat well, drink lots of fluid to make sure their immune system is good. And it's also important that if anyone in your family is sick, please, report that to the office. We need to make a judgment call, with that, because if someone at your home, has an illness, we need to make sure that you're not a silent carrier with that. If you are sick for any reason, call the office. Do not go in without talking to the office first, because we do not want anyone going into a client that's sick. We will work with you closely, with all of this. We know that people, can't afford to lose income, and we're working with people closely to try to make sure that as best as we can figure that out, that does not happen. One of the things is, if for any reason you have a client that is sick when you walk in, call the office. We're also in normal flu season, so we need to be made aware of anything that's going on. One of the good things that we're seeing right now is that in all of Cuyahoga County, at least as of right now, there have not been that many people that have tested positive. There are, some that have, but there haven't been that many. So most of what they're finding right now is the normal flu. So I do want to tell people, don't panic if you're feeling bad. Don't go into work, but don't panic and think that you automatically have it. Don't panic that, if someone but we need to err on the side of caution with this whole thing, and just make sure that that it is hopefully nothing in this particular case. The most common side effect, or not side effects, but symptoms that someone could have it is a fever, chills, cough, body or muscle aches, and fatigue. Those are the things that are the most common things. So, but there are some lesser common things like sore throat, cold-like symptoms, even diarrhea at times can be some things that would be less common. And then, in severe cases, people have shortness of breath, heart palpitations, and low blood pressure. So I wanted to give you some common symptoms. If you have any of those things, you should self-isolate from anyone in your household and use a separate bathroom from anyone that is ill, that it has any symptoms like that. And then make sure that you call a physician right away. Also, there is a hotline. It's the COVID Emergency Nurse Hotline. A triage nurse will ask about symptoms and help you determine if anything is needed. You can also give this to anyone that you know that is suffering some symptoms. The number is 833-427-5634, and I'll repeat that, 833-427-5634. One thing you don't want to do is show up at the doctor's office, so without first calling, and because that can actually potentially spread it. The best thing to do would be call your doctor, and it's usually both, call the nurse hotline. And then if you or a loved one were ever to develop symptoms, please call the office immediately. We have to know. It's not even optional in this case. We need to know anything that's going on with any of our caregivers. Now, all of that said, I think that with the population we serve and other things, the most important thing I can say is this, stay at home, go to work. Don't expose yourself needlessly to public situations where you could put yourself or the people that you're helping in danger. And that's basically it. I don't know if, after saying what I have, Karen, do you have any questions that come to your mind?
Well, the only question I have is, what if one of your caregivers, and I'm, playing devil's advocate a little bit, is feeling uncomfortable themselves about leaving the house? Is there an understanding between you and them that you can either walk them through this fear so that, it lessens, or they don't have to take an assignment during this so-called 2 or 3 week quarantine, that the governor would like us to do?
Yeah, so here's the thing is, and to answer your question, if anyone's really afraid of things, we need to know that. Fortunately, most people that we have as caregivers have put this into perspective. They understand that our clients are, are high need and low risk for giving it.
Sure.
So this is a part of kind of that that caregiving thing that is that we realize that we have to give care to those that are in need, because there is no plan B for a lot of our folks. And so, what we need to know, and I would encourage people to call, is there a reason why? Because sometimes, there's the old saying that we have nothing to fear but fear itself.
Right.
Sometimes that's really true in this case, that it's the fear of everything. Because this whole thing is hitting so quickly and people are just afraid of absolutely everything. And it's really important for us to kind of say, what is it that we truly need to be concerned about? And what is it that is, more of just fear? And because one of the things that that whole just fear thing is not good for people.
Right, exactly.
And there are people that at this point in time have conditions like they have OCD,
right.
and they're actually driving themselves crazy because they are so compulsive with things that psychologically they're having issues because they're afraid of literally doing anything, and because of an underlying mental health condition that they have. But I hope that answers it. But
and it does. And the reason I asked that very specifically is when I came out of the hospital 2 weeks ago, I was getting physical therapy here at home. And I stopped it because my physical therapist kept telling me about all the different places she was going, not just treating patients, okay? And I got very uncomfortable about that myself. And I said, I would prefer that you don't come to me. I can figure out the physical therapy on my own. I'm one of those lucky ones that can do that. But I think what you're telling your caregivers is very important. Do your job, do it right, go home, stay safe. And most of your clients aren't going out to begin with, so their risk of passing it on to you is going to be much, much less.
And, I would say just, to help, there's actually two things about what you had mentioned is most likely the people that your physical therapist is taking care of, are taking care of, are also low risk, because the fact is they're, they are in their home, they're not getting out, they're not
Sure.
doing those things. And so, for you, but I would say this is that, it's really unfortunate that your physical therapist had scared you with that.
Well,
because it was kind of like he or she,
Yep.
It was kind of the unintended consequences of saying something, because what we need to do is help people to understand that, that we're there to take care of them. It's okay. We are taking precautions so that they are safe. And people, older people are scared to death right now.
Oh, absolutely.
About things. And, because all they're hearing is the terrible things, and we just have to reassure them that we're doing the right things so as to, protect them. And that's what they need to hear, not like, oh my gosh, this person is doing this, this, and this, which can cause an issue. Because, I really believe our caregivers are rising to the occasion and not doing, going out and meeting with people, in large gatherings and not, a lot of the stuff, frankly, we can't do now
Exactly,
anyway, because
exactly.
because of the way the governor has done it. close down things, but we're taking the extra precautions. I'll say one other thing too. If people don't have a little digital thermometer, they should have a digital thermometer. And every morning, just take your temperature. Make sure you're not running it. Usually, most people feel like it if they're having a temperature.
Right.
But as a precaution, just take your temperature and see if it's unusual. You can get them for $6 to $8, for it. One of the things that I can tell you is that we are remaining, because we have a population that needs help, and so so many people have lost their jobs now, and fortunately, our caregivers have not, and so not only are they desperately needed, and desperately needed, to be well, but they're one of a group of people that are considered essential workers, and so are remaining employed in a time where a lot of people are not employed, and so I'm thankful that our folks are still being able to to work during this time. So
and I know
anyway, those are some.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
And I know the community is grateful for you and the training that your company prepares your caregivers for. This would have been very hard to prepare them for, but just letting them, be trained, and you're all there for them, and you're all working at the front lines. That to me is essential, and I think that's why you have some of the very best caregivers in the industry. So kudos to Charity Companions.
We have the very best of the best, and like I said, I think a crisis like this, I believe that during this time, we actually have had fewer call-offs, fewer other things than any other time, because people are rising and doing the right thing for folks. And I am just so blessed that people are doing the right things for the folks we serve. I'm going to finish up by one last thing. Everybody was sent different training modules that is on things like the COVID-19 virus and some other things. So, one of the things is hand washing. Doing proper hand washing is really important, just in general, even not for this. And so I would ask, even though I think most people have the training on hand washing, it's really good to be reminded exactly how to do it properly. And so the hand washing thing or module is a really good one to go through. So please go through those modules, and in some of your downtime. And we have more downtime now at home than we've ever had. So anyway, that's it. Thank you for all you're doing, and God bless everyone in caring for our clients. And stay well.
Stay well, everybody, and we will have another session soon. Thanks, Doug. Have a great day.
Thanks.